In the quiet town of Cedarwood, nestled beneath the dense canopy of ancient trees, the wind whispered eerie secrets and the shadows danced sinister dances. It was a place where the line between reality and nightmare often blurred, and where the darkest corners held chilling tales waiting to be unraveled. In the heart of Cedarwood, there lived a young woman named Emily. She was a recluse, preferring the company of her books and her cat, Midnight, to the bustle of the outside world. But Emily harbored a secret fascination with the macabre, and it was this fascination that led her to the depths of the internet one stormy night. As lightning streaked across the sky and thunder rumbled in the distance, Emily found herself lost in the labyrinth of Craigslist, scrolling through the myriad of listings in search of something that would satiate her craving for the unknown. It was then that she stumbled upon a peculiar post titled, WANTD, Brave Souls for Haunted House Exploration. Intrigued, Emily clicked on the listing and read the cryptic description beneath it. The post promised an adventure like no other, promising to take participants on a journey through the abandoned mansion on the outskirts of town, rumored to be haunted by restless spirits. It was signed simply, The Keeper of Secrets. Despite the warnings echoing in the recesses of her mind, Emily felt a surge of excitement coursing through her veins. Ignoring the rational voice that urged her to turn back, she sent a message to the anonymous poster, expressing her interest in joining the expedition. Within minutes, Emily received a reply, instructing her to meet at the edge of the woods at midnight, where she would be greeted by her guide. With a mixture of trepidation and anticipation, Emily donned her coat, grabbed a flashlight, and set out into the darkness, leaving the safety of her home behind. The woods were shrouded in an ominous silence as Emily made her way through the labyrinth of gnarled trees and twisting pathways. The branches reached out like skeletal fingers, grasping at her cloak as if warning her to turn back. But Emily pressed on, her heart pounding in her chest as she followed the faint glow of her flashlight through the gloom. Finally, she emerged into a clearing bathed in moonlight, where a figure stood waiting at the edge of the forest. He was tall and cloaked in shadows, his features obscured by the darkness as he beckoned for Emily to approach. With a nervous swallow, Emily stepped forward, her footsteps echoing in the stillness of the night. The figure nodded in approval, revealing a faint glimmer of recognition in his eyes as he spoke in a voice that sent shivers down her spine. "You have come seeking the truth," he said, his words hanging heavy in the air. "But be warned, for the path you tread is fraught with peril. Are you prepared to face the darkness that lies within?" Emily hesitated for only a moment before nodding her assent, her curiosity outweighing her fear. With a solemn nod, the figure led her deeper into the woods, where the shadows seemed to grow thicker with each step they took. As they approached the edge of the abandoned mansion, Emily's breath caught in her throat at the sight of the crumbling facade looming before her. The windows were boarded up, and ivy crept up the weathered walls like the fingers of the dead reaching out from beyond the grave. Without a word, the figure produced a rusty key from the depths of his cloak and unlocked the creaking door, revealing a yawning darkness that seemed to swallow the light. With a silent gesture, he motioned for Emily to enter, his eyes gleaming with an intensity that sent a chill down her spine. Summoning her courage, Emily stepped over the threshold and into the abyss, her footsteps echoing in the empty corridors as she followed her guide deeper into the bowels of the mansion. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and the walls seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy that sent her skin crawling. As they ventured further into the depths of the house, Emily's senses were assaulted by a cacophony of strange noises, whispers in the darkness, the scraping of unseen claws against stone, and the hollow moans of something not quite human. With each passing moment, the shadows seemed to close in around her, suffocating her with their oppressive weight. But still, Emily pressed on, driven by an insatiable thirst for the truth that lurked within the heart of the mansion. Finally, they reached the heart of the darkness, a room bathed in an eerie blue light, where the walls were adorned with strange symbols and sigils that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. In the center of the room stood a pedestal upon which rested a single, ornate box adorned with intricate carvings. Without a word, The figure motioned for Emily to approach, his eyes burning with a fervor that sent a shiver down her spine. With trembling hands, she reached out and lifted the lid of the box, revealing the object within. A small, ancient-looking amulet that seemed to glow with an otherworldly light. As Emily's fingers closed around the amulet, a sudden wave of dizziness washed over her, and she felt herself being pulled into the depths of the darkness. She tried to scream, but no sound escaped her lips as she was consumed by the shadows, her consciousness slipping away into oblivion. When Emily awoke, she found herself lying on the forest floor, the first rays of dawn breaking through the canopy overhead. She was alone, the mansion nowhere to be seen, as if it had never existed at all. Shaken but alive, Emily stumbled to her feet and made her way back to civilization. The events of the night etched into her memory like a nightmare she could never forget. And though she never spoke of her harrowing ordeal to another soul, she knew that the shadows behind the listings would forever haunt her dreams. Months passed, but the events of that fateful night continued to haunt Emily's every waking moment. She tried to convince herself that it was all just a fever dream, a figment of her overactive imagination fueled by her fascination with the macabre. But deep down, she knew the truth. She had glimpsed into the abyss, and it had stared back at her with eyes as dark as the void. Despite her best efforts to move on, Emily found herself drawn back to the depths of the internet, scouring Craigslist for any sign of the mysterious figure who had led her into the darkness. But try as she might, the listings remained as enigmatic as ever, offering nothing but empty promises and false hope. Then, one rainy afternoon, Emily stumbled upon a new post that sent a chill down her spine. It was titled, "Seeking Witnesses to Unexplained Phenomena." Intrigued, she clicked on the listing and read the cryptic description beneath it. The post detailed sightings of strange lights and shadowy figures in the woods surrounding Cedarwood, along with reports of unexplained disappearances and eerie whispers in the dead of night. It was signed by a group calling themselves the Seekers of Truth, and it promised to shed light on the mysteries that lay hidden beneath the surface of their seemingly idyllic town. With a mixture of trepidation and determination, Emily sent a message to the anonymous poster, expressing her interest in joining their cause. To her surprise, she received a reply within minutes, instructing her to meet at a remote cabin on the outskirts of town at midnight, where she would be initiated into their ranks. As the appointed hour drew near, Emily made her way through the pouring rain, her heart pounding in her chest with a mixture of fear and anticipation. The cabin loomed before her like a specter in the darkness, its windows glowing with an otherworldly light as she stepped over the threshold and into the unknown. Inside, she found herself surrounded by a group of strangers, men and women of all ages, their faces obscured by the flickering shadows cast by the firelight. They welcomed her with open arms, their voices hushed as they spoke of the darkness that lurked beyond the edges of their reality. For hours, they shared their stories, tales of encounters with otherworldly beings and brushes with the unknown that had left them shaken to their core. Emily listened in rapt attention, her fascination growing with each passing moment as she realized that she was not alone in her quest for the truth. As the night wore on, the group grew restless, their whispers growing louder as they spoke of a place where the veil between worlds was thinnest, the abandoned mansion that Emily had visited months before. They spoke of ancient rituals and forbidden knowledge hidden within its walls, tantalizing her with promises of answers to questions she had not even dared to ask. Driven by a newfound sense of purpose, Emily volunteered to lead the expedition into the heart of the darkness, her resolve steeling as she prepared to confront the shadows that had haunted her dreams for so long. With the support of her newfound allies, she set out into the night, determined to uncover the truth no matter the cost. As they approached the mansion, Emily felt a sense of déjà vu wash over her, the memories of that fateful night flooding back with a force that threatened to overwhelm her. But she pushed the fear aside, focusing instead on the task at hand as they stepped over the threshold and into the darkness. Inside, the mansion seemed unchanged. The walls still adorned with strange symbols and sigils, the air thick with the scent of decay. But as they ventured deeper into its depths, Emily sensed that something was different, as if the very fabric of reality had been warped by their presence. With each passing moment, the shadows seemed to grow thicker, their movements more sinister as they danced along the walls like specters in the night. But still, Emily pressed on, her determination unwavering as she led her companions deeper into the darkness. Finally, they reached the heart of the mansion, the room bathed in an eerie blue light where Emily had first glimpsed the amulet that had changed her life forever. But this time, there was something else waiting for them. A figure cloaked in darkness, its eyes burning with a malevolent intensity as it spoke in a voice that sent shivers down Emily's spine. "You have come seeking answers," it said, its words echoing in the silence of the room. "But the truth you seek is not for mortal eyes to behold. Leave this place now, before it consumes you whole." But Emily refused to back down, her resolve unyielding as she stepped forward to confront the figure that had haunted her dreams for so long. With a defiant gesture, she reached out and seized the amulet from its pedestal, a surge of power coursing through her veins as she felt the darkness begin to recede. In that moment, Emily knew that she had found what she had been searching for, not just answers, but a sense of purpose that had eluded her for so long. With the support of her newfound allies, she vowed to continue their quest for the truth, knowing that the shadows behind the listings held secrets far greater than any of them could have imagined. And as they left the abandoned mansion behind, Emily felt a sense of hope rising within her. Hope that no matter how dark the path ahead might be, they would face it together, united in their quest for the unknown. For in the end, it was not the darkness that defined them, but the light that they carried within their hearts.